Raymond Vivier pounded on the doors, yelling for people to get out. For some, it was too late. The intense fire and thick smoke that raged through this home on West 32nd, November 7th, was overwhelming. 4 people lost their lives, including Ray.
I got to know him, and
Cleveland City Councilman Joe Simperman, a former social worker, knew Ray and why he helped save others.
in his final moments, and the house is exploding all around him. The fire moved very, very quickly. You could tell by the extent of damage. To have that kind of thoughtfulness of others, courage, and ability to, think at a time of such confusion, just makes you think to yourself that he was very true to who he was.
This story is not about Raymond's death or what happened here. In fact, it's about his life and the lives he touched around him, and an amazing ending to this story, which is not at this burned-out shell. Raymond spent a lot of time at The Drop, a local soup kitchen. At 61 years old, Ray still suffered from his own personal demons while living under a bridge. One of the people serving the homeless was Jody Fesco. Jody, working through her own personal issues, found peace in exercising her Christian faith here. Ray and Jody hit it off, something like father-daughter. At her home now in Franklin, Pennsylvania, she says Ray stood out as someone looking for God in his life.
And actually the first night I met Ray, we ended the evening praying together. And it was beautiful. It was something that I knew that was going to continue, like these times where I got to sit down and talk with Ray, and I looked forward. He was part of the reason why I came there.
In fact, faith and circumstance so intertwined Jody and Ray, she even invited him to her wedding. While most people wouldn't even consider inviting a homeless person to any intimate family event, Jody's husband Ernie says this was a no-brainer.
It was like, hey, Raymond, yeah, definitely. Like, I was thinking about having him in the wedding party. He was just that close.
This was the last time they would see Ray. Now in the hospital with severe burns and in terrible pain, Ray kept uttering the name Emmanuel, meaning God with us. That's how Ray went to the coroner's office as Emmanuel Doe, unidentified and unclaimed. With no ID and estranged from his family, nobody was sure who Raymond was. Not until several phone calls were made after hearing about news reports of the fire did everybody put 2 and 2 together. Jody and Ernie were shocked upon hearing the news and Ray's last words.
His last words whenever he was in the hospital, when he was passing away, the hospital was actually confused. They had thought You want to finish it?
Yeah, he kept on repeating Emmanuel, Emmanuel, and yeah, they thought that was his first name, so they wrote that down in their records.
So I guess that's one positive.
In Erie, Pennsylvania, the oldest of 5, daughter Alicia Vivier, got the news. She says she's still hurt by a father who was absent and someone so hard to understand, but she does not want to carry around any anger.
You can love someone, maybe not love the things that they do, but that doesn't take away the love that you feel for someone.
Raymond was a private in the Marine Corps in the 60s, and while he didn't see any combat, he was proud of his service. Once a Marine, always a Marine, which brings us to this point. The homeless man who fought so hard to bring peace into his own tortured life would find peace at Arlington National Cemetery.
On behalf of a grateful nation, and as a symbol of our...
Haraz Ganbari, a naval officer and Cleveland native, knew about the situation and fought for all of this to happen. He wanted to make sure Ray wasn't forgotten, homeless in some pauper's grave.
Ray is buried here at Arlington National Cemetery, where everyday Americans chose to serve their country, and they served honorably. These Americans have worn the cloth of this nation, and now it is our responsibility to make sure that they will always be honored. And that is what we're doing with Ray Vivier, having him buried here at Arlington National Cemetery.
Arlington is definitely a place for heroes, and my dad was a hero. In the end, he was a hero, and he deserves to be remembered as a hero.